Hello and welcome back. My name's Sullosian and this is another video in Skywanderers. So, just a nice video for today. I thought I would showcase just what I've been working on the Sullosian Command Ship. And, well, I guess now is a good time to show it all off. I've done a lot more exterior decorating and I'm almost finished the entire weapon system, so I'm pretty happy with how the weapon system's turned out. And I will show you just how each system works just now, I guess. So we'll come down to the hangar bays first. Each hangar bay has 2 heavy cannons. So each weapon has the implied super fast shooting thingy, and then it's got the cannon sort of shot where it shoots 4 bullets all at once in one direction. And then these ones are the same, except it's more low profile, harder to see, harder to hit, all of that. So you've got 3 of those low profile ones and 2 of the heavy hitting ones, and you've got all the mechanisms for it. I'll just put my flashlight on here. You can't really see it too well. Basically, I've added a lot of armor plating and all the mechanism and logic wiring of everything just in here, and you can get to it easily for each cannon, and it's turned out pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with how all that looks. I will go to the light side now just so you can see what it looks like over here. This is what the armor plating looks like. It's a bit thicker in areas just to protect the logic and such, but I think it really does a good job at hiding all the weapons, and overall looks pretty nice, and I'm overall very happy with the way that the hangar bays look right now. I would like to add more armor plating along the edges here and underneath and do landing gear and all that. So there's still a lot to do, don't get me wrong, but I'm happy with how the overall exterior plating looking is going. So we'll come up top now. I'll just sort of stand here and show you what everything is. So over here you've got the 1 and 2 heavy hitting cannons, you've got 2 mid heavy hitting cannons, and then you've got the 3 and the 4th low profile ones, and then another one at the back. So in total there are, I believe, 9 heavy hitting guns, and then there should also be 10 of the low profile ones. So everything, all the logic for each of the weapon, I had to redo each and every single one for every weapon, because you can't copy and paste, you can't use mirror blocks for logic, it's all very tedious. So as you might imagine, it actually took quite a while just getting all these done, because there's a little bit of logic involved just for each of the mechanisms, getting it fast firing, and then left click does this, right click does that, entering into the camera and rotating the turret. It's a little bit tedious, but I got it done and I'm very happy with how it all turned out. So you can just sort of see all the logic in there. There's actually more logic, but I actually covered up half of it with actual blocks, but I wanted to have some of it visible, so I had the grilled plating there, which I think looks good, just a nice little bit of effect. And looking from a side angle with the glitching of like some of the logic inside other blocks, it looks like there's flashing lights. That looks a little bit cool if you can see that. But all the low profile ones, they're blending in nicely on the top here. I think that's all very good. We'll get to this in a moment. This actually wasn't there until about a moment ago, when I decided I would try out the beam blocks and see how you could do the Death Star sort of laser thing. So we'll go back to that in a minute. But we'll just go into the bridge here, turn the flashlight off. Had to do all the lighting again on the bridge, because with the new lighting update, all of these lights, they're much more powerful and way brighter than they used to be. So I've had to switch out basically every light on the ship with these ones, which are lower light level. But that means any logic I had wired up to lighting I have to redo now. So I just sort of have to do this sort of stuff where I can turn the bridge lights off, which is nice. So it turns off all the lights just to make things a little bit more inconspicuous, saying like you've lost power or something if you're trying to roleplay. Or you can do the warning lights, which will turn on some other lights down here to red, and just sort of like give you the we're under attack sort of look and vibe. So that one toggles the orange and puts on red ones. So all makes sense to me, but basically if you were ever in the ship you'd have to toy around with things to figure out how it all works. Furthermore, I've finished wiring up this panel here, so there's a lot more stuff on this panel. I always had that one there which had the missiles and then 2 extra switches which are now the warning lights and the bridge lights. But over here we've got the all cannons at once which you can now control. So I'll just sort of stay here so you can look out this window here, which is a nice view. If I go into the all, it will control every single gun on the ship excluding the main weapon and points them all. Now I don't know why I did this, but I figured it was a cool idea. But basically I think it's very dangerous because if you're not careful and you aim into the back of another gun, you're just going to blow up your own guns, which is not going to be good. But basically there's a camera view of it, so you can just sort of see all the top ones swiveling, but it actually happens across the entire ship. And then you got this button here which will reset all the rotors to their home position, which took a while to wire up as well, but I think it's definitely a necessity. So we've got the top cannons here which will control all the guns on the top of the ship on the giant plate area out here. So that one, these ones here. And then you've got the left hand side hangar F, which stands for front. So this one sort of controls all the guns on the left hand side hangar bay, but gives you a view from the back cannon, so that way you can shoot forward without fear of hitting your other guns. You know exactly where they're all pointing, so I can shoot like that and not have a fear of shooting my other guns. But if I'm aiming here and I shoot that one, I'm going to shoot everything. And I'll show you what I mean by going to the left hand side hangar rear view, which is the R. So now I'm actually controlling the one at the back. So now if there's someone tailing me, I can turn around and I can shoot all these cannons without fear of shooting the ones behind me. So hopefully that makes sense, but I feel like that was a sort of good idea. And then you can do that for both sides, so you got the right hand side and left hand side. And we'll just reset the guns again. And that should be all of those. Yep. And then now we've also got these hangar door ones. So we've got the interior view of the left hand side hangar bay, and I can press that button there and that will open the door for me, which is pretty cool. And then these ones here, they're for viewing outside the hangar bay in case you need to see if a ship is coming up and needs to dock. So you got the left hand and right hand side, and then you got left hand, right hand side. So all pretty standard stuff, and it's all looking very good. We'll just put that away. Gets in the way. But we'll come down here now. So we've got our teleporter and our identity block inside now for easier access instead of having it out there, if you remember it being just out there on the front. But now it's all inside, so that's good. Over here we have our right hand side weapons and middle weapons. So you've got the weapon reset button, of course, and you've got a rear top center view where you can just sort of view all the turrets to see if they're all intact. This one is a right hand side hangar. You used to be able to see better, but then I did all the armor plating and it sort of blocked the view. But basically these cameras are just so you can check that the turrets are still there. Next you've got individual control of all the heavy weapons. So not the low profile ones, but all the heavy cannon style ones. So the right hand side forward one, so this will only control this turret. Instead of having to control it from like out here on the ship, you've got easy access inside the bridge, and you can control each one and you can shoot them. Now you've probably noticed, but I didn't mention it, but there's another ship there. This is an identical match of this ship, and I basically just used it as a pinata to test out my weapons. We'll go back to that in a minute though. But you got right hand side rear, in case you need to shoot someone behind you. Top front, just up here, you can see me in there maybe. The rear on the top. Middle on the top, which is this one here. Hopefully you can see where that is. And the rear on the top as well, in case you need to shoot someone there, wherever it is. So I've just tried to make sure every sort of viewpoint is accessible, not including directly behind or directly in front or below. So basically we're very well covered for the sides and the top now, but we're not very well covered for directly behind us, where I plan to have a nice array of weapons, directly in front of the dish, just below the viewing range of these cannons here, and then also further down the sides on the forward sides. But I'll show you where I want more guns in the future. So this is for the beam weapons. I'll show you those later, but basically this is what it's like from inside. Left click will fire up 2 laser beams, and basically these are at the front because they've got shorter range than regular weapons to my knowledge. But basically you got the reset beam laser switch there, and you can control both sides, and you can just sort of shoot the ships. So as you might know if you've seen the more recent devblog video involving the power system, these laser beams, they're really good at draining the enemy's power and doing heat damage, not so much actual block damage though. So if I can, I'll demonstrate that, but for the moment you're just going to have to either view the devblog video or wait until my next video, which will show that off in a proper demonstration. But then this set of switches here is for the left hand side weapons, so there's only 3 heavy weapons on this side of the ship. So you got the front down here, and then the rear and the top front, this one here. So hopefully that is all good. Next thing's next, we will go past weapons for a while, but we will come down here to the engineering bay, where we will just go over the power system of the ship now. Basically I wanted to have power racks here, just like giant server racks filled with the power generators, but then I actually started building and it looked way too crowded. I really enjoyed having the open feeling of this engineering room. I mean, it's kind of pointless, what are you going to actually have in here? But it actually feels really good, but it feels bad if you start putting pillars and extra stuff in here. So I really just want to keep this as it is for the moment, because I quite like how it is. But for the moment we've got 4 individual power cells on each side, and then in here we have a row here, a row here, a row up there, and a row up there. And that's the same in both sides. So basically the reason why there's 4 is because if one loses a single block, then the entire array of generators goes offline. So you sort of need to have lots of redundancies for power. So I've got those ones there, which aren't enough to power the ship by itself, but I figure if we ever had something like life support, or you need to get that last missile shot in to keep your ship from being completely destroyed, you need some form of power. So there is just power all over the ship at the moment, and this is the main system for it at the moment, but basically, yeah, you need to have redundancies in case one of the arrays goes offline. So we've got the one there, there, and there, and then we've also got another 2. We've got this one here, which is a 9x2, so there's like 18 generator blocks in this area here, and you can't actually get to them, but basically if they ever were damaged, just break the glass, go in there, repair stuff, get some more glass if you have to. So that's the same on both sides. Those ones there are probably the biggest ones I've got on the ship, but there is another secret set which I actually wasn't going to show you guys, but I figured what's the point in not showing you, might as well. So we've got like a secret room here, which it's basically just meant to be the void generator room, because these are void generators, they draw energy from the void. I figured purple is a cool colour to go with the void, it makes sense. So I've just got that array there, and the same over this side here, and the doors are nicely hidden, so any enemies trying to take out the obvious generator rooms on the ship might skip over this one here. Hidden button there next to the light, and the door conceals itself completely, and there's no glitching effects, so that's pretty well hidden. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. So that's about it for that part of the ship. We will go down to the beam lasers now just so you can see them. So that's these here, pretty low profile. I wanted to keep them small and not so noticeable. I originally was just going to have it one here with the camera on the side or something there, so it would be 2 whole bricks less, it would just be really small. But then I decided I'd rather have more power being thrown at the enemy ship, so it's probably better that we have 2 beam lasers per side, because you can only control 1 at a time. So overall I'm very happy with how everything's looking at the moment. Just thought I'd make this video so you can all see how the overall look of things are going. I'll just show you this quickly. So we've got a secret switch there, and then another switch there, which will open up the main logic array for firing the weapons. I feel like an idiot for putting it right on the front of the ship. Like, a single missile will take out all my weapons, but it took so long to do, I really don't want to redo it. So basically I've just tried to armour it up a little bit with a bunch of bricks and stuff, but you know, overall I still feel like a pretty big fool for doing this. Like, weapons array, everyone knows you hide it somewhere in the ship. You don't actually leave the weapons array right at the front of the ship where your enemies can take it out in one shot. It's just, I don't know why I did that, but it's there, and that's all there is to it. I will probably make a secondary backup system later. Okay, moving on to this. So, Death Star laser style, I want your opinion. Should I have one of these sort of laser arrays on the ship? I'll just demonstrate by shooting at this ship here. Flick this switch here, lasers combine here like a Death Star, and they all fire into the ship here. Now the thing about lasers is they do heat damage to enemy ships at the moment, so you're going to need a lot of lasers to do any damage. The reason why I had this ship here is because I needed to test out the effectiveness of all these weapons, and there's quite a few of them, against a ship like this of my own size and build and overall just the exact same. So, judging by how effective my ship was against my ship, I can tell that my ship is not going to fall very easily. I tried doing heat damage, but even with every single weapon all focusing fire on this ship, the heat doesn't go up quick enough for there to be any damage. So basically, it's hard to explain, but the generator to block ratio to overall size of the ship to power usage consumption, it's perfectly balanced in a way that I can use my ship, have plenty of power left over, have redundancy generator systems left over, and it doesn't matter how many beam lasers I get hit with, it's going to take a lot to take out my ship. The only thing that will actually take out my ship in a fight would be, in one case, shooting at my weapons array right here and taking out my weapon system, and overall just shooting my ship to shreds. But in terms of lasers and other weapons making a ship self-destruct due to heat damage or power overload, it's not going to happen at all. So I'm very happy that the overall technical side of things is working perfectly, and honestly I'm pretty happy about how well it stood up against this fight against my own ship. Like, the guns just drill holes straight through the ship, as you can see here. I basically cut it in half, but it takes a lot of firing just to get any damage done to this thing. It's pretty built up, to say the least. So I'll just sort of show power is out for some reason, not sure why. Pretty sure I didn't take out all the power systems, but it looks like lights go offline when something happens to the ship, like it gets cut in half. I don't know why the lights went out, but if anyone knows, just let me know. Basically, I'll just come over here for the last part of the video, hopefully wrap this up soon. I made this version of the ship before I did any of the armor plating, just to show you where the logic and what it looks like individually, so to say. So each gun has its own logic array. You've got a camera to get into the camera view, like so. And then you've got one to control it just like that. And you got all the weapons, and hopefully you can see them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another 5 on that side there. And then the however many on top here. And then in here is all the logic that you probably couldn't see too well. This is basically all of the doing grouping of shots. So if I want to control the right hand side hangar bay, this is how I do it. This is the circuit for that. If I want to control the top right hand side set of guns, this is how I do it from here. So this is like the grouping of all the weapons. Individually, I will still be able to go into the bridge and take control of each individual weapon, but if I want to do group attacks of all the top weapons and shoot all of them at once, if this goes offline I won't be able to do that. And also the reset switch is there, which sets all the guns back to their center and forward positions. So hopefully that all makes sense. Also, I hope you liked the video, and if you want to know anything else about how the ship's working, if you got any advice, tips, suggestions, let me know. I would love to hear them, and I will see you in the next video.